All right, everybody, welcome out to the third video for the Takt steering and control boards on the LeanTakt YouTube channel. And I do want to just say that we on our identify boards, symbolized by these neat little, cute little basketballs, should be finding our problems from real-time information from the boards. And here's what I want to say. Foremen do best with visuals. Foremen do best with a pen or a marker or something in their hand where they can visually look at it. Usually talking verbally does not land. I mean, how many couples can talk to each other and they've been married for 30 years and they have no idea what they're talking about? But if you get a visual out, it's going to work well. So imagine that your foremen are working with you on these visual boards, and now you've identified all these little problems. Well, this is great because now when you are either doing your trade partner weekly tactical or your afternoon foreman huddle, which is where you either plan the week or the day out ahead, you can loop this in and understand where you are. So how can you know where you're going if you don't know where you are? How can a doctor prescribe medication if they don't have your blood work, right? So you understand the concept here. We must know what our problems are. Okay, so the third part, and by the way, if you have this mostly taken care of before the meeting because trade partners are automatically updating it, or your field engineer's updating it, or you're just moving magnets or whatever, like honestly, this shouldn't take that long to update this, even at a minimum. It shouldn't take that long. You can then focus on the main part of the meeting, which is discuss. So we have a couple of little things here. We have the weekly work plan from the actual Takt plan itself. We have a one-off activity weekly work plan. That's where you can just add one. Like let's say something's not a part of the Takt rhythm, you can still just come add it down here at the bottom. Inside the weekly work plan, you can also do this right here as you can have your day plan right here. So this, let me go ahead and do this right here. If you are on a job site where your plan is listed out and you're doing it on a weekly basis, then this can become your weekly work plan right here, or this right here can be your day plan. So on large, multi-million-dollar projects, this would be your day plan. So and then any handoffs for the week and any permits. So let me talk through this. If you are either in your trade partner weekly tactical or your afternoon foreman huddle, whichever one you want to visualize, this is how the meeting would go. You would come in and talk to your trade partners and you would say, hey team, I love you. Let's do some shout outs, right? Follow the normal agenda. But you would say, hey, where is our current bottleneck? And hopefully you would be able to come over here and use these wagon descriptors, which will show each of the trade partners, each of the activities. You should be able to check mark and say, yeah, I think wagon number 6 is still the slowest one. And you as a leader will reinforce, hey, that is not making fun of wagon number 6. Nothing is going wrong. Something about that work is taking quite a bit of time and creating our pace. So if you were able to actually identify that, that would be huge, and it becomes a part of your discussion. Um, uh, and I actually went out of order here. Where is your bottleneck zone? If you were able to identify, hey, which one of these zones over here is your bottleneck zone? So let's say that you have a zone over here, right? Like we were talking about, you can check and say, hey, actually this zone is the biggest bottleneck, okay? Knowing that as a team is huge as a superintendent. You could also discuss owner changes, remind the team of key items for the project that need to be planned. You would then go through handoffs, discuss any new activities starting, any quality meetings that we're starting, and any deliveries and where they go. Once you got a consensus on that, you would be able to make sure that your look ahead here and your weekly work plan was correct. You would be able to add any activities in here that you might need to that were in addition, and you could focus on key handoffs throughout the week. So if you have key handoffs from one wagon to another, you would be able to discuss that. Now, here's the key. If you're in the day planning of this, you would with your trade partner say, okay, what shout outs do we want to give to our trades? What feedback do we want to give to our trades the next day? What's the biggest safety focus for the next day? What permits do we have? What is the weather going to be like? What deliveries? And what is our general plan? What you want to do is make sure that you are going to communicate this to the workers and that everything is 100% planned out. Okay. So generally, this board is just for you to create your weekly work plan and your outline for either your weekly or daily cadence. But here's where it gets remarkable. Before you leave the meeting, you need to solve your issues. So if you have major issues, the key here is write them down, and this is profound, so I hope everybody's sitting down. What are the issues? What are the actions? And so you can write down the issues, right? And say, who's on point. And if there's an assignment, right, of here's what we're going to do, you make sure that that's assigned to the team and you don't leave the meeting unless somebody is on point, unless somebody's taking it. That means if I'm a superintendent or a site manager, I would want every one of my major issues to be assigned to my field engineer, project engineer, PM, the foreman for the specific trade, or somebody. Everybody is leaving this meeting. We know where our issues are. We know what our weekly and our daily plan is, right? And we know what our issues are, and we know who's on point and who's going to take care of it tomorrow or throughout the week. If any of these issues become big enough to where the foreman or the superintendent can't handle them, they go on to the meeting agenda for the team, where it becomes a part of their Scrum process. So if this major issue, like let's say it's design change or like a deferred submittal or something else like that, we need that to the project team, the project manager, project engineer to start moving that to completion as a part of their Scrum process. So let me go ahead and anchor you down here one more time. If you are getting coverage for your team, meaning you know who's covering, you have reviewed your macro level attack plan and your norm and your procurement log, and you have created a weekly work plan with your trade partners based on real-time data, which enables you to then do your day planning with your foreman based on real-time data, and everybody leaves that meeting knowing what their assignments are. You can, with your day plan, then communicate the plan to the workers, and any major issues will go to the project team as a part of their daily huddle with the project manager and the project engineer. These are for the issues that the foreman and the superintendents cannot control and cannot get rid of, right? That's in the, actually it's on this one, it's on the daily huddle, okay? It shouldn't have been on this board over here. So the cadence here is, if I zoom out to the from the meeting boards, is if we know our problems, we can then create our weekly and daily plan and solve problems together. And if it ever gets too much for the foreman and the superintendents, defer that to the team. So this is the system. Identify your issues, discuss them with the team in your huddles, and solve them together. If you follow this pattern, and it may seem confusing to you because you're like, yeah, I've never run a meeting in this order, that's fine. But the idea is, don't just talk about when people are doing activities, and don't just talk about where people are. Talk about real things, real problems, real solutions, and make sure that everybody's on the same page with the plan. So if you use these boards, modify them to your liking according to this meeting system, I promise you, you will start to reduce variation, you will reduce your stops and restarts, and you will create flow in the field.